Welcome to another episode of Hidden Heritage, where we follow the breadcrumbs to discover more evidence of who were the only American Indians that inhabited the Americas and that are still here till this day. Now, before we dive into the rabbit hole of truth, if you are new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, and turn on post notifications so you'll be informed about our next upcoming episode. If you are already subscribed, welcome back to the channel, and thank you once again for your unwavering support. Please continue to like, comment, and share so more people can witness the truth. Let's dive in. All right, jumping right in. Today's video is called The Northwest Ordinance Promises Made to American Indians. So, we're going to go through this whole thing real quick, though. We're just going to pull up some buzzwords so we can look at it. And as you can see on the right, let's get the pointer out. All right, so this is it. We're going to be reading right over here, but we're going to break it down so we can see who we're talking about, all right? So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to scroll. Bear with us. We're going to scroll to the bottom just to see how much. But we're not going to read like everything, just a little bit at a time, because we want to point out some stuff. All right? So we got to the bottom that we know where we're at, all right? So we're going to look up for the word Indian, all right? Because, who are they talking about here, right? So let's just check it out, all right? So, two things. Indian was mentioned twice, all right? So we're going to start reading from here first. The utmost good faith shall always be observed towards the Indians, okay? That is our correct identity. Why? Because their lands, we are tied to the land. It's going to make more sense as we keep moving forward. Their lands and property shall never be taken from them without their consent, okay? This is our identity. Once you deviate from this, you've given consent, and in their property, rights, and liberty, they shall never be invaded or disturbed unless in just and lawful wars authorized by Congress. It's called paper genocide, regular genocide, right? And reclassification, but laws founded in justice and humanity, all right, shall from time to time be made for preventing wrongdoings done to them, and for preserving peace and friendship with them, all right? So, let's lock down the other Indian, and we're going to go check something out. All right? So, to make sure, again here, Indian titles. All right? Indian titles. So, let's go back to the top so we can lock it down so we can see who they're talking about. All right? So, again, right here, we're going to take a look at this date, or close to it, so we can see, again, who are the Indians, all right? So, you see the date again right here. And you read the Society for Propagating the Gospel Among the Indians and Others in North America. And then we see the Indian, right? But we got to peel back the layers so we can see, right? You got to peel back the layers. Same year, all right? So we peeling back the layers. The Negro in the New World. And you see what he looks like, all right? And you see what he's dressed like in Indian regalia, okay? And then we peel back one more layer to see. And you peel back the final layer to see the Southern Indians, all right? And you see what he looks like. And you see what he's wearing, Indian regalia. And we cannot say that this is how everyone looked back then, because you can see people next to him that do not look like him, right? These are the Indians. Let's look at one more, all right? So we're going to start off with the year first. As you can see, around the same time frame, because there were no cameras back then, right? So, let's go to the top, all right? So, here is a depiction of an American Indian, to be exact. See his beard, his hair, phenotype, facial features, his thick lips, broad nose, quiver of arrow, skin complexion, body type, all right? Even here, he has his earring in. Look at the type of hair he has, The coily hair, feather headdress, feather around his arms. He even had the straps for his shoes, feathers right here. And look what it says at the bottom. America of wealth, all right. And these are the Americans. They even have some Indians up here with their headdress. And look at that type of hair that they have, the best you can see, all right. It's coily hair, all right. And this is the headdress. Quiver of arrows right here. Feather coming up right here. And this one is just regular, not wearing anything special of note, all right. Again, in the 1700s, they didn't have any cameras, so they drew what they saw. All right? All right? So we're back, all right? So again, I want you all to either remember this or get a pen and paper and write it down or put it in your notes, on your phone or something. Northwest Ordinance, 1787. Remember that, okay? And remember, this is referring to the Indians, all right? Their lands, their rights, their titles, right? Their stuff. So, let's take a walk somewhere like this. We want to read something. We're just looking up certain words. What does this sound like to you guys? Article 6. There shall neither, let me, excuse me. There shall be neither slavery nor involuntary servitude in the said territory. I wonder what territory they're referring to. Otherwise than in the punishment of crimes, whereof the party shall be duly convicted, provided always that any person escaping, or in the same, from whom labor or service is lawfully claimed in any of the original states, such fugitive may be lawfully reclaimed and conveyed to the person claiming his or her labor or service, as aforesaid. But we're talking about Indians in this Northwest Ordinance, 1787. Talking about Indians. Why are they bringing this up for Indians? And again, it sounds familiar. So let's take a walk, shall we? Okay. Real quick. Almost forgot. They have them listed as American Indians. So let's scroll down to the bottom so we can see that. And then you have to make sure you dodge the hijack. And I'm going to explain that. I almost forgot. To native in lowercase, the N is in lowercase. So, to Native of America. Okay. Basically, two Native Americans wearing fronded headdresses and armed with arrows on a seashore. One kneeling in a row, in a rock, with one hand propped on cones from a palm tree. The other standing clothed in a gold skin, gesturing out to the left with ingot in one hand. I don't know what that is. Let us know in the comments below. A crocodile on the sand, a European ship at sea, and three figures gathered around a hammock set between palms under a canopy on rocks, in the upper right from a set of 4 quarters of the world, republished state. And you see down here, American Indians. They are not Native Americans. Dodge the hijack. They are American Indians. 2 Native Americans. Native of Americans. American Indians. They are not Native American. American peoples in the British Museum, seashore. So, let's keep moving. All right. If you made it this far into the video, please like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, turn on post notifications. All right, so, we're reading that stuff about the crime, and we was like, man, where have we heard that before? We all knew, but we just didn't realize it was going to be word for word, bar for bar in referring to the Indians, right? In the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Remember, we told y'all to remember that word specifically, right? So we go to the 13th Amendment, and the 13th Amendment is referring to also just one group in the world when it comes to the Americas, right? When it comes to America-India, right? That's why they are the American Indians. So we read the 13th Amendment to United States Constitution abolished slavery and involuntary servitude except as punishment for a crime. That amendment was passed by the Senate this date, right? So let's see if we can find something that takes us from here to the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. All right. So let's go here first looking for crime. So let's move this out the way real quick. Something was in the way. So, crime again. 13th Amendment. But who they referring to? Right? Okay, crimes. Okay. All right. Crimes again and crime again. And remember that word right here. Northwest Ordinance. They were talking about Indians now. Right here. And they are specifically mentioning these people. These were classified paper genocided people, right? They could be. Let's make sure, okay? Because they were reclassified, all right? If we're speaking in just stuff, just common sense, I guess for right now, these people, only these people, okay? This is why you have to reclaim your American Indian identity immediately. These people could be sentenced to forced labor for crimes, including petty theft, using obscene language, or selling cotton after sunset. Now, who are the only people who are selling cotton or raising cotton, right? It was the Indians. You're not going to bring anyone from other continents to raise and till to the land and cultivate the land. This is the word I was looking for, right? So, after they passed strict vagrancy laws that was selectively enforced to these people, right? The labor of these convicts was then sold to farms, factories, labor camps, quarries, and mines. Okay? Then you had the black codes, all right? So we saw in the other ordinance, territory. What territory are they talking about, all right? So when we look for territory, we just typed in who we're looking for, who owns the territory, right? So, again, beyond the 13th Amendment and in slavery and Indian territory. Okay? So, who were in the territory? It's highlighted, spoiler alert, okay? So the blacks or the slaves, excuse me, I cannot stand saying that, right? And neither should you, right? They have Indian rights, Indian lands, Indian territory, Indian titles, but we just cannot get through the masses to have them to stop referring to themselves as a misnomer, okay? What were the identity of the people that owned 100% of the farmland, okay? That's what they got reclassified to. So, we have to realize that if someone is calling you out of your name, out of your identity, you have to realize you have to stop calling yourself out of your name and out of your identity, okay? You have to get back to what you were when you owned everything, all right? Can't put it simpler than that. Indian rights, Indian titles, Indian territory, ending that in there, okay? Ending that in there. So, if there were slaves in here, who were the slaves? What was their identity, okay? Right here, right here. And we got something else to show you guys, because we're coming after this out of Africa propaganda, really. Really good, all right? We're not playing, and we got the receipts. Let's go. All right, here it goes. So, we come to the diagram of the Brooks slave ship. Everyone knows about this. This is public knowledge, all right? So, this diagram, let's go to the top to bottom so you can see, all right? This diagram of the Brooks slave ship is probably the most widely copied and powerful image used by the abolitionists' campaigners. It depicts the ship loaded to its full capacity, 454 people crammed into the hold, all right? Let's stop, pause. See the year of the Northwest Ordinance, 1787, all right? Let's keep reading, all right? Full capacity. 454 people crammed like sardines into the hold. The Brooks sailed the passage from Liverpool via the Gold Coast in Africa to Jamaica in the West Indies, right? Now, for the folks that's thinking, see, I told you. I told you to went to the Caribbean. All right, we're not done. We're not done. This is why we do this. We don't care how people feel. We don't care how we feel, what we think, or what we believe. We're just here to just drop as much truth as possible, so there would be no lies. All right? Cannot spell believe without L-I-E? So we're here. We're in the age of knowing, not believing. We're not going to believe nothing. We need to prove what's going on. So we're debunking this lie right here, okay? Watch this, because we got plenty of videos where we went looking for these so-called ships going to the West Indies, or to Jamaica, or the West Indies in general. And all we keep finding is American Indians there, working or being forced to work, prisoners of war. That's all we're finding is American Indians, right? And they are listing them as such. So they would at least be like, oh, these are people from Gambia or Senegal or the Ivory Coast. Like when you do a census, you do a census of the country or state if you're in the USA. Like, hey, I'm from North Carolina, or I'm from Senegal, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Kenya, not just Africa. Like, come on. Anyway, let's keep moving, all right? So the diagram was a very useful piece of propaganda, right? We're going to keep reading, and we're going to come back to this word for the folks that have no proof and refuse to do genealogy for folks and actually do the work to look to see people actually came from Africa. Genealogy is the key, right? So, the diagram was a very useful piece of propaganda. Thomas Carson commented on this history of the rise of progress and the accomplishments of the abolition of the African slave trade. Again, you're going to need to know which country you got them from. You just can't throw a blanket statement of Africa, right? So that the print seemed to make an instantaneous impression of horror upon all who saw it, and was therefore instrumental. We have proof that the transatlantic slave trade happened within the Americas. Okay, again, for the Navy folks or Coast Guard experience, is it possible to be going from America to Africa, back and forth, for hundreds of years, with millions of people packed like that? Like sardines, right? Propaganda. So we're coming back to that, and we're going to dissect that, this propaganda word. So, oh man, all right, stay tuned. And was therefore instrumental in consequence of a wide circulation given to it in serving the cause of the injured Africans. Again, no mention of a specific country, right? Gold Coast. Thanks. That's terrible. Again, by the same year of the Northwest Ordinance, the diagram, right, was widely known across the UK, apparent in newspapers, pamphlets, books, and even posters in coffee houses and pubs. And image had rarely been used as proper as a propaganda tool in this way before. All right. So now we need to know that the correct full in-depth definition of propaganda. All right. Propaganda meaning propaganda, right? Watch this information, especially of bias or misleading nature, used to promote a political cause or point of view. He was charged with distributing enemy in propaganda. Here are some buzzwords. We are going to focus on disinformation, counterinformation, brainwashing, indoctrination, the big lie, and then disinfo. So let's click on disinformation, false information, which is intended to mislead, especially propaganda issued by a government organization to a rival power or the media. All right. Let's stop on the docket. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to the big lie. a gross distortion or misrepresentation of the facts. Okay, we don't. It doesn't matter how we feel. We're just here to lock it down. All right, especially when used as a propaganda device by a politician or official body. Let's see the full definition of the big lie. Okay, see what else we got here. All right? So let's click on this and check it out. Big lie. A deliberate, gross distortion of the truth used, especially as a propaganda tactic. Listen to this brainwashing, the process of pressuring someone into adopting radically different beliefs by using systematic, and often forcible means, all right. Indoctrinate. Let's see that right there. Let's go back to that. Indoctrination, the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs, cannot spell that without i.e., which is a lie, uncritically. That's going to make sense. Watch this. Okay, the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs lies on critically. Prisoners, or prisoners of war, are subject to brainwashing, indoctrination, and punishment for petty theft, right? Watch this. So we showed you something in an earlier. Let's see if you're going to figure out what it is. Once we go down here to the origin or propaganda, here it goes. Origin propaganda. Feed air congregation. That's a religious thing. Congregation for propagation of the faith. Faith. Excuse me. Congregation for propagation of the faith. We mentioned, and we showed you something earlier. We're going to go back to it so we can tie them together. Propaganda disinformation. Again, watch this. Remember, congregation for propagation of the faith. Propaganda lies. And we hear the Society for Propagating the Gospel of Faith among the Indians. All right. Same year of the Northwest Ordinance, right? So, it's in the name. You have to be converted to a religion. So that means we were spiritual before the conversion to religion, before the propaganda. All right. It's even in there. Propagate propaganda of the gospel of faith. Right? We were spiritual people. We did not rely on any religion. That's going to come back. Some dude or a woman is going to come back to save us and take us to heaven or cast us down to hell if we don't literally worship his or her faith. That sounds not good at all. Let's leave it at that. That we have to worship some dude or a woman, right? In order to go someplace really nice. Like what? And if you don't worship this guy all the time or some woman all the time, that person is going to send you to someplace bad. But at the same time, between time, you have free will to do whatever you want with your soul. But if you don't do what they want with your soul, if you don't worship them with your soul, you're going to go someplace bad. Come on, guys. Enough is enough. So we find it not a coincidence that the same year of the Northwest Ordinance for the Indians and their rights, their titles, right, their land, their identity was changed to Negro or Black. And when they owned everything on the land, the blacks or Negroes, Black Americans, can't stand saying that because it's so wrong. And we have the receipts that they should not be calling themselves that. But now, we have the Black Americans own less than 1% of the farmland, when before as Indians, they owned 100%. And that's why you have the propaganda of this. I can't make this stuff up. It's just a tool, and we have to reclaim our correct identity permanently. Cannot be Black American Indians, just American Indians, or Amerindians. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, subscribe. Comment your thoughts down below and turn on post notifications. You'll be informed about our next upcoming episode. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. One love and adoration, American Indians. Peace.